Censor is telling his audience that the bridge is going to benefit people, that it is going to benefit children and anybody passing through the bridge. Look, both lands between the house and where the bridge goes, it is his land, not the village, and it is fenced. So that tells us that nobody crosses. And will people cross to his land to do what? To his compound to do what? In the same video, Censor came on camera and said people are jealousy about the bridge. If it could be the Chinese who are building the bridge, we will have no problem with it. He says we will be uploading the Chinese, but because he's an African, we are tearing him down. Ladies and gentlemen, he says he's waiting for the authorities to come and visit him. He will be live streaming that video to the world if they come to his compound to show them and expose them. He's going to expose the government of Kenya to the world that, look, there is an old bridge and people used to use. I built something, but if you have a problem with it, the thing is, why are you talking about exposing these and exposing that? Why don't you do things in a proper way? We have channels to do things in Kenya. Follow the law. Even though something can help, you need proper approval. That is called civilization. You won't tell me that you just wake up one morning and take some poles and you go fix them beside the road, then you put some solar panels without authorization. That is the same thing that applies here. And let me play this clip, then we dive deep to the entire discussion. Stay tuned.
People can pass, horses can pass, and still I get very negative people, people from our own community. I really believe we Africans are sick. Yeah, and this is my home. Anybody who will come here, it will be recorded. They wanted a Chinese man to stand here or a white man to stand here.
They can believe that.
So they can believe that, yeah, that something good can be done. I think we are sick in our mind. We're just waiting for those people to, I don't know, visit, come. I'll really expose what they have missed to do. And I will stream live. I'll stream live. They can take me wherever they want.
After watching that clip, it is now time to dive deep to the entire discussion. A very good morning, beautiful people. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this amazing YouTube channel that goes by the name Maxwell Lumumba Africa. For those who are coming across this YouTube channel for the first time, I do reaction videos, especially to the videos that have been posted in public domain. Like today, I'm going to discuss about Censor says that they are jealousy, but is that the real issue? Ladies and gentlemen, for those who have not subscribed to this amazing YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share this video to other individuals. Remember to turn on the notification bell so that any day, anytime I post any video, you people get updated. Watch my videos from the beginning up to the end without skipping those ads that you see there. Show love to this YouTube channel. Let us make it happen. I also have another YouTube channel that goes by the name Vibe with Lumumba. That is my backup account in case one morning you wake up, get Maxwell Lumumba Africa channel does not exist. You will get me in Vibe with Lumumba. Let us go subscribe to that amazing YouTube channel. Let us make it happen. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, today we are discussing one of the biggest debates currently taking place in this YouTube community, a bridge. Arriva, government approval, subscribers questioning the project, supporters defending it, critics asking difficult questions, and now a creator saying that the criticism is simply jealousy. Now, before I begin, I want to make something very clear. This video is not about hatred. It is not about celebrating anyone's problem. It is not about wanting a project fall. In fact, I believe everybody watching this video wants community to develop. Everybody wants better roads. Everybody wants better bridges. Everybody wants children to be safe. Everybody wants easier access. Development is something we all appreciate. The real question today is not whether development is good. The question is this: can something be helpful and still required to follow proper procedures? That is the discussion, because throughout history we have seen many projects started with good intention: schools, hospitals, markets, roads, bridges. Good intentions are very important, but good intention alone are not always enough. They are procedures. They are standards that need to be met. They are regulations. They are authorities whose role is to ensure projects are carried out safely. Those two ideas can exist together. You can support development and you can also support accountability. Those ideas do not cancel each other. Now, let us talk what Censor himself said in his latest video. He tells his audience that people are jealousy. He says, if a foreign company had built the same bridge, everybody will be celebrating. But because an African is building it, people are criticizing it. That is a very strong statement. It immediately changes the discussion, because now we are no longer talking about concrete. We are talking about motivation. We are talking about why people are asking questions. And honestly, I think this is where we need to slow down, because criticism doesn't always come from jealousy. Sometimes criticism comes from concern. Sometimes criticism comes from experience. Sometimes criticism comes from professionals. How many times have I come on camera and said the same YouTube straight we have professionals? So sometimes criticism comes from ordinary viewers who simply wants to understand. The difficult part is distinguishing between genuine concern and bad faith criticism. Now, let us imagine something. Imagine somebody builds a school. A teacher asks whether the classrooms meet safety standards. Will we immediately accuse that teacher of being jealousy? Probably not, because things has to be said the way they have to be said. Imagine somebody builds a hospital. A health inspector asks whether the building complies with the regulations. Will we immediately call the inspector jealousy? Again, probably not. So perhaps the better question isn't whether people are jealousy. Perhaps the better question is, what exactly are they concerned about? And that is the real question that we are supposed to be asking. That is where meaningful discussion begins. One of the comments that attracted attention came from somebody claiming to work in quality assurance. Now, I cannot independently verify who that person is, and neither should viewers assume every online claim is automatically true, but the comment raises question about approval, the role of agencies, the responsibility for construction, environmental protection, and water resources. Whether those questions apply in this specific case, it is ultimately something for the relevant authorities to determine, not YouTube comment. Still, the fact that the comment resonated with so many viewers tell us people are interested in understanding how these processes work, and I think that is worthwhile discussion, because if a bridge is being built near or across a river, many viewers naturally wonder what approvals are generally required, who oversees the construction standards, who looks after environmental impact, who manages water resources. Those are the reason and very reasonable questions that are not accusation, they are question. Now, another point in the video is that if authorities visit, the visit will be live streamed. Let us think about that carefully. On one hand, transparency can be built, public confidence, allowing people to see what is happening can reassure viewers that nothing is being hidden. On the other hand, official inspections are usually formal processed. Inspectors have jobs to do. Their responsibility is to assess compliance with whatever laws and regulations apply, turning an inspection into a public confrontation could change the focus from technical issue to the spectacles. Personally, I think the strongest approach is this: if there are official procedures, allow them to take place professionally. Some days behind, like a month, somebody came to the same premise to inspect about the horses. Why couldn't you film that? So if questions are raised, answer them calmly. If approvals are required, show that they were obtained. If they were not required, explain why. That approach tends to build trust more than effectively than turning every disagreement into a battle between creators and authority. Another statement that caught my attention was the idea that the bridge was benefiting children and the wider community. Is that the goal? Then that is a positive goal. Helping people is something most viewers can support, but even positive goals often exist alongside legal and technical requirements. For example, a community may want a new classroom. Everyone agrees the classroom is needed, yet building plans, inspection, and safety standards may still apply. Those procedures are not necessarily the obstacle to development. They are often part of the development. And I think that's the point many commenters are trying to make. The conversation in their mind is not, should the bridge exist? The conversation is, how would it be built and what process should be followed? Those are different questions, and as we continue this analysis, let us try to separate personalities from principle, because When discussion becomes personal, we often stop listening to each other. When discussion focuses on principles, we have a better chance of understanding one another. So, let me say this in this video. The argument that the bridge is for the people, because that is the statement that has captured everyone's attention, because Sensor says this bridge will help children. He says it will help villagers. He says it will help anybody crossing the river. Now, on the surface, nobody can disagree that helping people is a good thing. If children can get to school more safely, that is a positive thing. If elderly people can cross more easily, that's a positive thing. If movement becomes easier, that is a positive thing. Nobody is arguing that helping people is wrong. I think that's important to establish right from the beginning, because sometimes when people hear criticism, they assume that the critic is against the entire project. Not necessarily. Sometimes the discussion is not about the destination. Sometimes the discussion is not about what is happening. It is about the journey. Now, about what is being built. But excuse me for that. But about how it is being built, those are two different conversations. Now, one thing that many viewers have pointed out is this: if the bridge is meant for public use, who actually uses it? That question keeps appearing. People are asking, will the general public be able to access it? Will it remain open, or is it located in a place where access is naturally limited? Those are the practical questions, not emotional ones. Now, I don't have enough information to answer those questions definitely and definitely, and I don't think anyone should pretend to know the answer unless they have directly knowledge of the property boundaries and access arrangement. For me right now, I won't be saying that these lands, nobody can go through it. Yeah, but I understand why people are asking, because if a project is presented as a community benefit, people naturally want to understand how that benefit will work in practical. Another statement, even before I go to the other statement, let me ask people. Sensor has lied to the subscribers. You are telling us how it will be benefiting people. You are bringing children into the picture because you want sympathy from the subscribers. Let us say it the way it is. This bridge is your personal bridge connecting from one of your farm to the other farm. Basically, for the horses to walk through to the Appaloosa stable. And that is the thing. Don't bring that, I don't know, it is helping children. Which children? Whose children will come to your land? The other time we saw somebody going to somebody's land and you arrested that individual, you said this person was trespassing. If you can arrest somebody being in another person's premise, what about your own premise? The only reason somebody can come there maybe to walk through the waters so that they cannot. How many times have you filmed in the video saying that somebody is there, let me check what this individual is doing in that premise, without knowing what that individual is doing? Because you have positioned yourself that anybody who wants to come near that company, they have to seek authorization from either your manager or you. So let me go to the another statement that could stand. It was how the comparison between Chinese contractors. Sensor argues that a Chinese company built the bridge, people would celebrate it. But because an African is building it, people are criticizing it. Let us examine that argument carefully, because it is a serious claim. It suggests that criticism is motivated by prejudice rather than concern. Now, is that possible? In some situations, the answer is yes. People can sometimes judge project differently depending on who is involved. I've seen that. A lot of roads that are being made in Kenya, when somebody hears that this is a Kenya road and Kenya is making this road, a lot of questions come. But when they see Chinese in that road, they automatically explanation is that these roads are good. I'm not confused. We can say that because if you read through the comments, many of the concerns are very specific. People are talking about approvals. People are talking about construction standards. People are talking about river management. People are talking about environmental issues. Those are not necessarily comments about nationality. They are comments about process. And I think that is an important distinction. If somebody says, was the proper approval obtained, the question would still exist regardless of who the builder was. Whether the project was being built by a Kenyan company, a Chinese company, a European company, or American company, questions about standards and approval can still arise. That's why I think it is important not to reduce every concern to jealousy. Sometimes criticism comes because people genuinely want to understand. Now, let us talk about another point. Censor says people are trying to bring him down. Again, I think we should separate two different ideas. One idea is personal attack. Those should never be encouraged. Nobody deserves abuse. Nobody deserves insult. Nobody deserves harassment, and that is not constructive. But another idea is asking questions. Questions are different from attacks. Questions help people understand. Questions encourage transparency. Questions allow facts to replace assumption, and that is very healthy. Now, let us imagine this. Bridge project was being carried away by county government. Do you think citizens will ask questions? Of course, they would. People will ask about budgets. Even right now, the other time last week, we saw a demonstration within Migori Bridge, yeah? Because that bridge, it is on the verge of collapsing. It was made to the standard, but when the rainfall, when actually we had heavy rainfall, the bridge was like falling. So that raised a lot of safety questions. People ask about standards. People ask about a lot of questions that needs to be asked. So people will ask about timelines, because even when they were demonstrating about timelines. Will that automatically mean that the public hated the county government? Even funny thing is that now it has been like a ball. The county government is blaming the national government. They are saying that this is the mandate of the national government to construct this bridge. The national government is now throwing the jab to it that you are the people who are supposed to do that. They are coming back and saying that this road was made by the national government. So it is the mandate of the national government to do it. Not necessarily. It will simply mean that the public wanted accountability, irregardless was it the county government or the national government. And I think that the lesson here, accountability should not automatically be interpreted as hospitality. Now, Let's return to the statement about exposing the government. Personally, I think that is the part that deserves the most at reflection, because if officials visit a project, their role is usually to carry out whatever responsibility the law gives them to do. If somebody believes that the officials are wrong, they are usually formal channels for challenging those decisions. We have seen in Kenya, a lot of things have been challenged in form of appeals, reviews, legal processes, administrative procedures. Those systems exist for a reason. And I think using those channels often produces better long-term outcome than turning every disagreement into public confrontation. Now, some viewers may disagree with me. Some may believe live stream everything creates accountability. Others may believe it creates unnecessary conflict. Reason people can hold different opinions. But let me tell you one thing. Those are hot airs. That Censo is telling the world. If those people step foot in that villa, Censo will be tensed. He will be wetting his pants. And that is the reality. Let us speak the reality. Don't brag because you want to show the world that you are stronger than the authorities. You'll never be strong. Me, from the day I saw big lawyers like Miguna being arrested, crying, I'm not going, I'm not boarding, I knew that things fall apart. When I saw the likes of Mike Sonko being arrested, crying like babies, I said game over. When I've seen a lot of very big personnel in the government being arrested, I said game over. This tells us that nobody is above the law, but one thing is certain. The conversation should remain focused on facts rather than personality, because personalities come and go, principles remain. As I continue watching this story unfold and things become very clear, the bridge itself has become secondary. The real debate is about leadership. How should leaders respond when difficult questions arises? Do they dismiss every concern as jealousy? Do they listen? Do they explain? Do they prove or provide evidence? Those choices shape public trust. A trust is one of the most valuable things any public figure can have. So perhaps the biggest lesson from these entire controversies is this. People can support development and still ask difficult questions. People can admire effort and still want transparency. People can appreciate initiative and still believe procedures matter. Those ideas are not enemies. They exist together, and if they don't, communities often become stronger because of that. And after discussing that, I'll be diving into maybe another section that I'll be talking about transparency, about accountability, because this matters a lot. Because the moment somebody asks a difficult question, some people immediately think that that person is an enemy. The moment somebody asks a question or a decision, some people immediately assume they want the project to fall. But accountability does not mean distraction. Accountability means making sure that the decisions are made responsibly. Let's imagine something together. Imagine your neighbor decides to build a 4-story building next to your house. Will you ask whether the building has been approved? Most people would. Will that make you jealousy? The answer is no. Will that mean you hate your neighbor? The answer is no. It is simply means you understand that some projects affect more than one person. Now, imagine somebody starts constructing a bridge over or near a river. Again, Many people will naturally ask these. Who designed it? How was the site selected? Where the relevant process followed? Because how was that site selected? It just because there was a pathway there initially, and because you think that the horse and people will be walking through it. But let us consider, Sensor is contradicting himself. The first statement that he gave us on camera is that I'm making this bridge so that vehicles, horses can pass. Now you are changing the story to tell us children will be passing. So, was the relevant process followed? The question does not automatically come from hate. Sometimes they come from concern. Even me, I'm asking because I'm concerned about that. Now, here's another point that is important. A lot of people confuse confidence with refusing to answer questions. True confidence isn't about saying I'm right and everyone else is jealousy. True confidence is being able to explain why the decisions calmly. If someone asks why you choose a particular design, explain it. If someone asks whether professional advice was sought, explain it. If someone asks what considerations were taken into account, explain to them so that they can know. Information often reduces speculation. Silence sometimes increases it. Now, let us turn and say this. The suggestion that officials come, they will be live streamed to the world to see. That statement has generated strong reaction. Some viewers think live streaming will create transparency. Others think it will turn a professional process into public confrontation. Personally, I think official inspection should be allowed to happen. Professionalism. If there is a disagreement with the decision, they are usually legal and administrative ways of challenging it. That is how institutions are designed to work. Now, that is what I've talked about. The face, follow the law. Some people hear those words and they think that they are attacked, but in reality, the principle applies to everyone. Business, follow regulations. Hospitals, follow regulations. Schools, follow regulations. Contractors, follow regulation. Individuals, follow regulations. So, following procedures is part of living in an organized society. It means, or it doesn't mean development stop. It means, and in many cases, those procedures are intended to support safe and sustainable development. Now, let us think about the audience. Subscribers have followed this journey from the beginning. Many of them have celebrated every stage of what is happening. Some have donated. Some have shared the video. Some even have prayed for you because that is part of support. Some have encouraged the project because they feel connected. They also feel invested. When people are invested, they naturally ask questions. That's human nature. Imagine supporting a football team every weekend. Will you never question the coach? Of course you will. Imagine investing in a business. Will you never ask how decisions are being made? Again, you probably would. Questions are often a sign of involvement, not hospitality. It is called hostility. Now, I want also to say this about public debate. Healthy debate should never become personal. The strongest arguments are those supported by facts. The weakest arguments are those that are based on insult. If somebody raises a concern, address the concern. I know a lot of people will come here to argue with me. If you come with your insult, I'm going to return you with an insult. So if somebody misunderstands something, explain to it. Explain them with it. So if somebody is genuinely wrong, evidence usually speaks louder than anger. Now, let us imagine the best possible outcome. Imagine the project is completed successfully. Imagine it serves the people many years. Imagine every relevant requirement has been met. That would be a positive for everyone. Supporters We'll celebrate. Critics would have their questions answered. The community will benefit. That is why I think the goal should not be winning arguments only. The goal should be building confidence. Confidence grows when information is clear. Confidence grows when communication is respectful. Confidence grows when facts replaces assumption. Now, having said that, this makes me to come to a conclusion to this discussion. Projects improve, trust improve, communities improve, and ultimately, that's something we should also want. Let us comment there in the comment section. Then we say our thoughts of what we are thinking about. Remember to subscribe to Vibe with Lumumba YouTube channel and make it happen. Stay tuned. Goodbye for now. Goodbye.